Hello YouTube, this is part 2, I guess if you want to call it that, of my Retevis rt97 modification box mod. I'm going to try to put everything in one box. I think this will work. It's going to be tight, but I think it will work. I got to remove this off the power supply so I can slide the power supply in there. I'll have to unbolt this, but that will slide down in there with no problems. I got the amplifier mounted. I got the repeater mounted. I still got to make a hole here for the feed and the power coming in, but I think this is going to work. Like I say, once I remove this, I'll just have it kind of sit over here, because then I need the power supply to plug in the amplifier, and then since this repeater can run on DC, I'm going to plug it into this power supply too, because I don't want to run the other power supply because it's going to take up room to set it in here. So I'm just going to use this. This can handle up to 30 amp. This does about 2 amps. And this one did about, I can't remember what it was, 12 maybe? I can't remember. But this is plenty of power to power both of these. And that eliminates me running another power supply for the repeater. So I just got to take this cover off and unbolt this. This will slide right in there, and I think this corner will be good. All my feet will come in this way. The antenna, the duplexer is underneath this board. I'm going to pause the video. I will remove this whole wooden piece and give you a better view, but the duplexer is underneath this board. So all my connections will be on this side. I unscrewed that plug in the other video so I can run my cables out of the repeater to the new duplexer and to the amplifier. So I think this is going to work good. Let me pause the video and I will remove this, and I'll show you a better close-up of how I did this. Okay, we're back now. What I did is I just took I know I said I was going to make like a frame, but after I started thinking about it, is if I made just a frame and it just have this whole back be open on both of these pieces of plywood, then if I ever need to move something, I won't have any wood to screw to. So I changed my mind. It's a solid piece of plywood. I just took a piece of plywood, cut it so it fits in that box, made a little shelf to mount the amplifier. This is threaded rod, so I can get the spacing. I may cut these off. I'll get wing nuts so that I don't have to use a wrench. But here's the duplexer. There's space for airflow. I might go a little bit more. That's about a little more than a ½ inch. This is mounted down. All the connections will be on this side, which, if you remember right, the power and the coax will be coming in on this side. So it'll go right to the duplexer. Power and the power supply kind of sits in sideways here, so that'd be no problem. The plug will be right there. And then on the repeater, I didn't put the plug back in, but I took the threaded plug out when I did that modification video. So when I do the add in a new duplexer, I'll just run the cables out. How I mounted this was I took the screws out that were here, and then I just used what I had on hand, which is like a dry roll screw. This goes all the way through. That's how I mounted that. This is going to be in a separate box, so that won't hurt nothing. It's mounted real good. You can, yeah, see, not a problem. So the only thing I got to do next is I got to drill holes here in the corner so I can thread it onto this. Then I got to make the hole here for the connector. And then the power supply, I got to take the plug off it, which is not a big deal. Just got to take the cover off and unbolt this. I put this on, I did that other repeater. So they'll just kind of set down in here. Then after that, I got some brown spray paint. I got some primer and spray paint, and we'll paint it. I may do a chain. I'll bolt the chain, and then it'll be 2 halves of the chain, and then you can just put the chain together and use a padlock to lock it to a tree. So I may do that also yet, but that's not really necessary right now. Or even U-bolts. You can bolt this to a pole. But yeah, I think it's gonna look pretty good. I'll paint all the wood maybe too with the brown spray paint after I get everything all figured out. I may trim a little bit of this wood back with a jigsaw so the power supply can really get in there nice and easy. Maybe cut this corner off so I can have more room. The threaded rod, obviously, I cut it to length. So I got double nutted so when I tighten this down it doesn't spin. So that's how I did that. So yeah, I think she's going to work really good. So I just thought I still got to measure the cables, figure out the length. Matter of fact, I'll pop these screws out here. I'll kind of show you so people who are not familiar what's going on, why I'm doing this is because this duplexer in here cannot handle the wattage of the amplifier I want to hook up. So I have to unhook this duplexer, and I have a video that shows, and hook up the other duplexer. But the good news is I don't have to drill any holes in here because they have these silver plugs that I can just unscrew, which I did on this, which I already did on this side. I didn't put it back in yet. And then my cables will come out that will go to the amplifier and to the duplexer below. And I can even drill a hole in here to have the cables as short as possible. So I got to measure my cables and order them. But at least the layout's coming together. So I just wanted to quickly shoot this video quick before I forget. And this is part 2. Any questions or comments, post them down below. And please subscribe. Thank you.